This is the Odysseus in drip mode, and to take it apart and assemble it, you unscrew the cover, and at this point in time you'll find the base, the retaining ring, the ceramic and the ceramic holder, and possibly a wick depending on whether or not you've got one installed. So to take this apart, you just unscrew this, so we have our base, we have our cone, and we have our rebuildable assembly. Take off the ring, and now we're ready to take off the coil that's currently in there. So the way to do that is you unscrew the retaining nut. You'll see on this side silver wire, which is right here. This silver wire comes out, and then you pull off your coil, so there we have the ceramic and the coil with the wick. Now there's 1,000 different ways of making wick. This is just the way that I make mine, so your mileage might vary. Now to reinstall this, let's just pretend that this is a new wick. This would usually be looking something like this when I install. So what I do is I try to have the bottom of the positive side lined up here. So you see this is where the bottom will be. And the reason why is we want to basically have that wick as deep as possible inside the coil. And so we just install the ground side or the negative side, and then put our wick inside. So you can see that's seated in there now. And then we bring this down, and then use an object of any kind. Try to do something that's not going to be, too hard or too sharp to break the silver wire. So the silver wire goes into the channel, and then you see here I'm just holding this down with my thumbnail, holding the wire against the center pin. Wrap around once, and I always try to wrap the wire in the direction that you're going to turn to tighten. So there we are. Now you can see the wire goes straight down right now. Goes straight down here and straight down. If we give this a turn, we're actually going to pull the wire over to one side, and that's going to put a little bit of tension on the wire. If you're using this method where you don't have a wick in the positive side, you'll want to do something like that so that it puts as much tension on the silver wire as you can without breaking it. And then this way, as you can see, the silver wire is not exposed, so when the ring goes on, that silver wire will not physically make contact with it. Break off this piece, put on my retaining ring, and I'm not going to screw it all the way up yet. I'm just going to make it that tight. And then you put your rebuildable in here. Now you see this is cross-threaded right now. It's not very noticeable, but it is cross-threaded. The tighter I go, the harder it gets, and then eventually it stops. The best way to deal with a cross-threaded atomizer or rebuildable core is you thread in reverse, so it's like unscrewing it, and eventually you'll get to the point where you heard it pop there. Let's do that one more time. That means that the thread should be, but maybe not. There we are. The thread should be straight. Anyways, if you're feeling any resistance when you're turning, if you can't turn the rebuildable core more than once or twice or 3 times, stop what you're doing and remove it. So, you see here, you can see on my finger, there's nothing protruding out the bottom. What you want to do is you want to just screw this in until you have maybe a 1/2 millimeter protruding. And the O-ring that's in the bottom here, that's going to start butting up against the bottom of the cup, and that's going to give you a good indication of when you've got a protrusion there. Tighten this down, snug. This is my positive side with the wick. This is my negative side with, my negative side with the wick, my positive side with no wick. And now we can just test this. Put it on a Pro-Very. So that's 1.8 ohms. And not bad.